Good morning, good evening, good afternoon guys, and welcome back to my channel. Hope you're having a beautiful day. Welcome to episode 4 of Mental Health in Sport, and I caught up with Dan Hancock, who is a personal trainer here in Stirling. He really opened up about all things mental health and fitness, and he really actually criticised the fitness industry, which I kind of loved. So I'm not going to spoil anything. Dan hasn't physically himself gone through, that's quite ironic. Dan hasn't himself gone through any mental illness, but he openly admits that he meets clients who have gone through mental illness the whole time, and he is very open about talking about these things. So without further ado, let's go with Dan's intro and Dan's chat. So how did you get into fitness?
So I've been into fitness my whole life. I used to play football when I was younger. In my younger years and in my teens, I played professional youth football, and so it's always been something that's part of my life. I've always had it there. I've always had exercising as a device for me. So when I moved to university, I stopped playing football and I started to get involved in the gym instead, because I saw the benefits for me, not just aesthetically, but because it helped me feel better, and I started to learn things to help me in everyday life. I sort of took it upon myself to get into that a little bit more, and I got qualified as a personal trainer.
Do you ever find the job annoying, or
it can be a very difficult job. You're dealing with a wide range of people who have got a wide range of goals, and everyone's different, so it can be difficult at times, but the rewards far outweigh them. A lot of things can be frustrating. The fitness industry has got everything all wrong, in my opinion. They focus purely on body image, and because it's one of the biggest making industries in the world, they can fleece people for money very easily. So, which is why there's so many misconceptions to do with nutrition and things like that, rather than people actually learning how they are supposed to change their body through a calorie deficit and things like that. Instead, these pills and shakes and things like that are sold. Because people go online now and read all these contrasting views on what they should do and how they should achieve the body they want, etc. It's my job to then to get them understanding the basics, and that's what it is. When it comes down to it, it is actually basic. So it can be, but like I said, the rewards are far greater when you get someone who comes to you not knowing a lot and then reaches their goal. Then it's brilliant, it's amazing.
So what's your perception of sport and its links to mental health?
Okay, so I mean, you could look at sport, and then you can look at exercise differently. I would look at them at two separate things when it comes to mental health. So sport, I would consider a little bit like a double-edged sword. So especially professional sport. Sport is exercising, it's physical activity, but sport is competitive as well. So I think when there's the right balance, that's amazing. And when someone is a good performer in their sport, everything falls in nicely. But sport, and like I said, especially professional sport, has that added pressure. That then I think the benefits of the physical activity then potentially get outdone because of this pressure that gets put on the athletes, which can then obviously lead to stress, anxiety, and all these other things. So it's turning. And this isn't saying anything negative about sport, it's not at all, but when it gets to that level, it's turning the positives of physical activity and exercise into potentially something negative when there's that stress involved, which is why we have these issues that we're going to talk about today. Exercise, without that added pressure, for me is one of the best ways to de-stress, to fight depression, to fight anxiety, things like this, and it's one of the most underutilised tools that it's there and it's readily available for us to use, but unfortunately people will be the doctors, and the first thing that's probably prescribed is medication. That's not to say anything against that at all, because for a lot of people it works brilliantly. I know a lot of people it doesn't work brilliantly for. Exercise for me should be top of the list of prescriptions for people suffering from anything.
So say you get an athlete coming to you and they're like, oh, I feel crap. What would you do?
So the first thing for me, this is the most important thing, is getting to the root of the problem. It's sometimes disguised. So the main reason someone would come to me would normally be, Dan, I'd like to lose weight, or I'd like to lose body fat, I've got an event on, or little things like, I'm going on holiday with my friends, I'm the biggest one out of them all. I'm going to feel uncomfortable in pictures, something like that. It's so common these days, especially with social media, and these unrealistic expectations of body image. People think that they need to look a certain way. That is adding massively, especially to the youth of today, that is adding massively to people suffering from social anxiety, body dysmorphia, even eating disorders. So initially people will come to me and it'll be like, right, I want to lose X, Y and Z, or I want to change this, I want a bigger bum, I want a tighter waist, things like that. And the first thing I'll ask them is, right, well, why? Because a lot of the time it's not actually, when you get down to it, it's not actually to do with the physical appearance, it's to do with something else, and it's to do with that related anxiety, or it's to do with, right, they've maybe put on this extra body fat. Why is that? Oh, well, I feel as if I'm binge eating. Why is that? And then it's to do with something else. It's to do with something else that's either lacking in their life, or to deal with another stress that's in their life. So for me, the most important thing is to get to the root of the problem, because you can teach people how to diet, you can teach people how to calorie count, you can teach all these things, but unless you actually get to the root of the problem, then you're fighting a losing battle. Sometimes it can be difficult to do that, especially with people who are maybe a little bit aren't as open about talking about things. But what I found is one of the best things about my job is, and I don't know whether this is to do with me as a person, being I think people can feel quite comfortable with me and approachable, but from speaking to other trainers in the same position as me, they get it as well. People are very willing to talk and to open up to you. It can be because you're their trainer, so I suppose an element of their life is in your hands. But when people are exercising, they want to talk and they open up and they talk to you, and that's when they'll normally tell me things that they might not have told anyone. The amount of times that people have said something to me and they've said, Dan, that's actually the first time I've ever told anyone that. So it's been in that environment, it's been that comfortable environment where they're not being judged, they can feel open to talk, but the fact that they're exercising as well, they're so much more willing to talk. So that helps massively. And once we've sort of got to the root of the problem, we can address it, and then we can start working from there.
Do you think that sporting bodies should do more for mental health?
Yeah, in short, yes. I know there's steps being taken at the moment to try and combat this issue. So I might be wrong here, but I believe it was the government issued a statement saying that by 2020 all professional teams and bodies would have a clear mental health strategy in place within their clubs or teams. The fact that it's taken this long for this to happen is amazing. It's absolutely crazy. So it's, for me personally, it's one of the most important things as part of professional sport. The whole not just mental health, but the whole mind state thing as well. It's so much of sport is psychological. If you're watching something, for example, if you're watching swimming, or if you're watching the tennis. If you were watching Andy Murray when he was playing at Wimbledon, you know one of the times he's having a bad game, it isn't because of anything physical, it's because the confidence, or there's something else left in your head. So psychology in sport is such a massive thing. So many sports revolve around it, like something like golf, for example. So much of it is a mental game. If your first shot is poor, there's only a few sort of professional golfers that would be able to recover from that. So the psychology of sport is massively important, but then it leads on to everything else. If you have a bad game or a bad performance, especially for pro athletes, that's their job. So if I have a bad day at work, I'll feel a little bit about it, but then I bounce back tomorrow and then next day and I'm fine. If a professional football player has a bad game and then another bad game and another bad game, he's going to be on the bench, he's going to get put to a lower league team, and then he's not getting paid as much, which is his livelihood. So there's so many things that link into it, and I just feel at the moment there's not enough being done. It's not a case of too little too late, because that's quite a negative way to think about it, because things are being done now. But I feel as if there should be strategies in place all the way throughout professional sport, from youths getting involved in sport because they are the future of the sport, and how to deal with stress. I listened to it was a podcast with Mike Tyson. It's quite an extreme example the other day. He was a world champion boxer in his late teens, early 20s, and he went to go see a hypnotherapist at the age of about 19 or something. Now I know that's an extreme example, and obviously there was the money there to fund it, but that shows that they were taking that seriously at that point, to knowing that, right, how can we prepare this kid for what's to come. I think with regards to mental health in sport, it's taken so long for people to actually open up about it. But the fact is, it's happening now.
Yeah.
So it's amazing. The ball is rolling now, and all it's going to take is a few more, not even necessarily big names, but a few more people to come out and open up, and that could do the world of.
Through your job, what benefits have you seen in people from being active?
So yeah, I think this ties nicely into the whole issues regarding mental health. Someone who comes to me and you see a transformation. So I'm talking aesthetically, a physical, visual transformation. For them, that is one of the most rewarding things on the outside, literally. And for me, that is the best way to generate business, which I don't necessarily agree with. Constantly, you'll see pictures of progress pictures, before and after pictures, and things like that, and that is how initially you would get business from showing these transformations. So, yes, those are amazing, and being able to see someone change is fantastic, especially when the odds are up against them. However, it's not the physical change that's the best thing. It's the change within them as a person. And yes, it may be because of the physical, because then they're more confident, their clothes fit them better. But a lot of the time it's to do with other things. It's to do with they're more just confident in general. They've overcame something that they thought they wouldn't be able to do, whether it's getting stronger at something, becoming faster at something, or being able to comfortably step foot in a gym and know what they're doing.
Yeah.
So many people will come to me initially and they're intimidated by the gym, and it can be a very intimidating place. So for me, even alone, that first session is massively important, because not to do with what we do in the gym, that's obsolete, it doesn't actually matter. It's the fact of them getting out their comfort zone, coming in, learning something they didn't know before, but putting themselves in that sort of stressful environment and being able to overcome it. Every single time I have my first session with someone, I say, by the time I see you next week, I want you to come in and I want you to do this again. I said, I want you to pick a quiet time, come into the gym, go over exactly what we've done before and see how you get on with it. I then say to them, right, I want you to come in at 6 o'clock on a Monday at the busiest time, and I want you to do it again.
Yeah.
Initially, it's throwing them in the deep end. If they can overcome that, then that's them off to a flying start. So, carrying on from that, the most rewarding thing for me is seeing my clients change, and I'm not getting carried away or saying that I do more than I do, but potentially you can change someone's life.
Yeah.
And these people they're investing in you and are putting their life in your hands. So being able to see someone go from maybe a little bit shy, self-conscious, body conscious, to go into someone who's confident and is happy and who's more energized and who sleeps better, for me it's the most rewarding thing out there, because you're having an amazing impact on someone's life. And yes, like I said, a lot of that does come from the body image, but it's to do with so much more as well.
Yeah. So what would you like to see in the future for sport?
I would like to see clear sort of programs in place. I would like to see more encouragement for athletes of any level to open up about, not even necessarily suffering from mental health issues, but opening up to talk about how they feel, how they feel about performance, how they feel about maybe a poor performance, things like this. And this goes from grass level sports up into the highest level. The more they'll talk about that for their own, I think, personal game, reflection can help them maybe perform better. That's from a athletic performance point of view. But from the mental health side of things, that'll lead on to them opening up more as well. As I mentioned before, I think the more sort of names we get coming out and talking about this, hopefully, knowing how other things have went, it will be potentially a snowball effect. People are funny. As soon as one person does something, initially it's sort of a little bit, oh, what's going on here? As soon as a big name does it and a popular name does it, it becomes a thing, and it becomes, I don't want to take this too far and say popular to do, but in a sense it does. As soon as one big name does it, then it's going to flow, and more people will then open up. Hopefully not jumping on the bandwagon, but hopefully that will help. With regards to exercise and the gym, what I would like to see is, I would like less and less to be focused on body image, and more to be promoted to do with the mental health aspects of competing taking part in exercise, rather than saying I want to go to the gym to change X, Y, and Z about my body. I want to go to the gym to become fitter and healthier. I want to sleep better. I want to have more energy throughout the day. I want to learn new things. I want to push my body to something that I thought I wasn't going to be able to do. I want to become a better person through exercising, rather than I want to have a low body fat percentage, or I want to be a size 6, things like that. That for me is massively important. That's what I'm advocating and trying to push at the moment. Stop using the gym as a means to an end to achieve a certain physique. If you train hard and you've got a good program and you eat well majority of the time, you're going to achieve the body image you want as a byproduct of your training without focusing on it. It's funny because people will talk about the gym and exercise as fitness, but what the fitness industry has done, it has actually totally twisted this on its head. Men's bodybuilding, physique, bikini competing, that isn't healthy. It's supposed to be healthy. You should be focusing on the performance side of things, rather than focusing on, I want to get, like I said, to X% body fat. I want to eat minimal amount of calories in order to look a certain way. That has turned health and fitness into something that's unhealthy. And my goal is to try and get as far away from this as possible. Start using physical activity and exercise as a tool for us to better ourselves as people, rather than focusing on the body image side of things.
I just want to take the time to thank Dan for sitting and chatting about all of this. I think it's an incredible thing that he's doing with his personal training and helping people to benefit from athletic movements and fitness. And I definitely think that he is an incredible person for doing what he's doing. So I just want to thank Dan personally from me for all of the help that he's had and given me, and welcome to the team. I have linked all of Dan's socials down in the description bar below, so feel free to check him out. And if you haven't, check out the other mental health in sport videos, because they are in a playlist on my channel, and also check out our website, again linked below. But until next time, please give this video a thumbs up, because it really supports my channel. Click the subscribe button and ring that bell to get notified whenever I post any more videos, and I will see you guys in the next one. Train with a smile, and I will see you later. Bye.